this, like, they're always talking about fourth industrial revolution, Africa being the next big thing.
Yeah.
Can you see then, like, accounting services still fitting in? Are they still, when everything is becoming artificial intelligence? Did you brush your teeth? I mean, it's because of some attention.
I realize now as he opens the door that he's gone again. So he just brushed his teeth.
Not some attention, but I'm attention. It's fine. Okay, thanks. Oh, she's a good editor. So, like with this whole fourth industrial revolution, Africa being the next thing, artificial intelligence, is there still like going to be a market and space for like accounting services? Do you still see it being like a need, or would it be like now a space where you need to innovate, where it's not just now, because like you said, we have now banking apps where you can get your statements of banks that now offer even like accounting like systems then for your business. So is there a risk that you guys might become obsolete?
No.
Why do you say that?
So the technology assists in producing information. So we have a lot of data. The technology helps us make this data information, but the technology cannot ever give you knowledge. It won't tell you what this means, what the information means. So there's that gap where a lot of accountants are still doing the work, but they still don't know what it means. So even accountants need to transform, and that's why accountants feel like they're obsolete, because the computers are doing the work. So what the client needs is the added value of what these numbers mean. So a computer can never really tell you all that. So that's the thing. I don't think we're going to be obsolete. I think we need to look at the fourth industrial revolution as a platform, to go global, to go international, to go into the continent. So I think we won't ever really go obsolete. I actually have another point there for quality.
But if they stay, but that means accountants need to then be more proactive now and change them with the times, because in like the next 3 years they can't be still going about it the way we're going about it now.
Definitely, I think that goes into the education. The education cannot just stop, because I remember we did accounting information systems in second year, as a quick module. We do it, over 6 months, and everyone gets like 90% in it. But people don't understand that that's the basis of starting an accounting firm. That's software that an accounting firm would need. So I think we'll never become obsolete. When will accounting do?
But like from you, like I'm looking from like you guys in the service when
okay, like we won't be, I don't see us being obsolete, because it's not about the numbers are just information. It's really about the interpretation of the numbers.
Is that where the value add is? It's not necessarily I've given you this financial statement, but in then making you understand in actual fact what are these numbers saying about your business.
Sure, I wish I'd say it like that.
Yeah, but that's essentially then what you're saying. So they might just give you the numbers, but then the interpretation and the understanding of what it means and going forward, what could possibly mean. They don't give you that. The AI doesn't give you that.
Of course. So I mean, and then it also speaks to the market, because the market in itself doesn't understand its numbers. So an entrepreneur that you're giving these numbers to doesn't understand these numbers. So you get an accountant that's just giving you the numbers. They don't understand the numbers. We don't understand the numbers, and you feel like you're getting it there. Because at the end of the day, your things are signed off, things are fine. But from an insight perspective, and that's sort of where that's the space that we're sort of playing in, to say we want to give clients insight, more than just saying here's your compliance thing, it's done, we're good.
Especially in historically disadvantaged historically disadvantaged areas. So like that's in the space that you're saying that you're playing in, and then that's where actually a lot of of that education or that interpretation is in the businesses you're in, running the work.
So it's that, there isn't enough knowledge about that. So someone doesn't know that if I take my money from my spaza shop and I put it in the bank, I'm actually pushing up my cash flow with the bank. The bank starts seeing me as someone that is credible and someone that they can give a loan to or give a credit card to. So that's then how a business can even expand, or an entrepreneur can expand. But if you don't have the knowledge of actually going to the bank, opening up that bank account, starting your company, registering it, then you're stuck in the same system. And that's the thing with the system. The system, there are sort of like two people in the system. There are people that know the system, and in the people that know the system, there are two people. There's a person that will teach back, right? Because they know the system. And then there are people that work the system because they know the system. So it's to get our previously disadvantaged individuals or entrepreneurs to understand the information that they have, to give them knowledge, and to sort of give them insight, because I think it's very important from an educational perspective, from a business building perspective.
So let's say I have someone on YouTube now, let's say they're in Kenya or they're in Ghana, and they just like what it is that you do. You're in South Africa. Do you think they'd be able to even get in touch with you and do business with you? Is your business just South Africa, or you're listen?
We're currently focused on the SADC region, branching out into the SADC region. So we definitely, with the way things are right now, we're working in a digital environment. So if I need to meet you, we can do things over Zoom. So it's. I'm saying that the business can do that. It's just about the comfortability of the client. Is the client comfortable, us talking about your finances over Zoom? You sitting in a room in your house or in your office, in front of your laptop, and us sharing information. Are you comfortable with something like that happening? And if a client is comfortable with that, we set up our business instructions to definitely be able to do that. So we've even got software, accounting software that will read the face of your bank statement, and then we don't yet have to ever see or know what's happening in your bank account. We don't have to even come to your offices. We've got software that can scan the receipts that and then will be saved onto the system. So we even build a proper audit trail in your financial systems without ever having to see you. So it's things that can happen. It's just about how comfortable clients are, and that's why education becomes so important, to make them understand that even after you can get them to understand why they need an accountant, now trying to explain that I'm trying to do things virtually with is another step.
So you've taken accounting digital, so in essence you're just doing digital accounting.
Yeah.
With the times.
Of course. We've literally moved everything digital, where we never really have to meet, and a lot of people get their things on time while still maintaining the quality of the documents that they have. So and I think that's what the industrial revolution is bringing. It's bringing this, everyone wants things quick, but how do you do things quicker but still maintaining the quality of the service that we're offering? So that's what we sort of deal with on a day-to-day basis.
So if you had to give, let's say, someone get advice who's thinking about them taking the jump, or they in accounting now, they just made difference, but they still want to use the skill set.
Yeah.
What would you advise them to do beforehand?
Yeah. I think firstly you need to cover yourself professionally. By professional indemnity insurance, but before that you need a professional designation. So there are a number of professional designations out there for accountants. There's SICA for chartered accountants, there's CYBA for business accountants, there is SIPA for professional accountants, there's SITE for tax practitioners, there's the ICPA, there's the ACCA. So firstly, I think you need to cover yourself professionally. So find a designation that you're going to be working with. once you found a designation that you've got that you're going to practice under, speak to the guys at the professional body to find out if they cannot help you with practice management. They've got a lot of webinars and information on how to run your firm, because your firm is not like a spaza shop. You need to be doing certain things legally and keeping up to date with your professional competencies and sort of and development. So it's different for you as an accountant as opposed to any other professional or entrepreneur. Other professionals also have CPD. So I think professionally, find their home. Once you found the home, look for clients. Looking for clients, I think, is the most important thing you could ever really do for yourself. You're going to be frustrated. A lot of people are not for you, right? They are not your clients. So
some just even string you along for the longest of time and then don't even like take you up on your offer.
Yeah. So that happens a lot, where you get stringed along. So you need to sort of learn how to draw the line. But that in itself comes with time. So you might need a bit of a runway. So if you're at your job right now, I'd consider maybe looking for a professional designation, and then also look for clients as you're at your job right now. Try to speak to people, try to find out what they're doing, try to speak to your network. I think it's important to first start with the network and the people that you know, and let them know that you're taking your services independent. And then once you've got the practice management stuff out the way, and financially you feel like you've got a runway for at least 6 months,
So you have to save 6 months, don't just.
Yeah, I think keep a runway for 6 months, depending on your lifestyle, because I can't give you an amount right now. I can't tell you that save up 20,000 rand for 6 months, every 6 months, right? That's gonna put it at 120, because that's to your lifestyle. You have to pay rent, you have to pay for your car, what are the things that you have to pay for. If you don't have to pay for anything and you're living at home, then you can easily make the jump. So it's about financially making sure that you're ready, learn about the business, and then put yourself out there. I think branding is very important, but I think even before the conversation about branding, I think it's about looking at your network, who can you speak to and let them know that you're doing this and you're practicing this, and get the low-hanging fruits first, and see who you can help. Try to start there. I think if you start from there, traction will grow, but you need to be very patient.
So how long did it take you for you to come when you say be very patient?
I'd say a good it took me a year. I'd say a whole year. It took me a whole year. So it's got a couple of.
But let's just first define what take off is, because
for sure.
Some people were thinking take off, but then it's not like you weren't making money in the year. What do you find as take off?
So number one, you need to make sure that your systems are on point. So you need to learn your systems. You need to learn how it functions, how they function, how to make things happen quicker. The right people to speak to and the right suppliers to speak to for whatever software or whatever products you're going to be putting on the market. So I think that is super important. I think you need to make sure that you've got contracts. So it depends on the type of
recurring contracts.
Yeah,
because you can get those once-off contracts, you just do financial ones.
Sure.
And then those recurring ones.
Yeah.
I think we didn't even touch on that a little bit.
Yeah.
You can get just once-off contracts to do financials and to do a review, but then you can get now recurring ones. So the aim is then to just get those recurring ones and not those ones.
So the recurring clients are a bit harder to get.
Yeah.
So you can get someone that says, can you do financials for me? Okay, great. Let's do these financials. We make an assessment, say, okay, 6,000 rand for financials. That's easier to close. But if you want to come in and say, I want to close you as a client and I want you to pay 3.5 every month, it becomes a bit of a difficult conversation to have. So it's negotiation.
But you haven't even displayed your value to them yet.
Sure. But if this person says yes, or let's say 2.5. We negotiate a 2.5 and say, listen, I won't do your financials, I'll do your financials and I will make you pay for it as long as you sign the monthly contract and you lock them into a contract for 12 months. And you definitely need to make sure that they honor the contract. But once you have them for 12-month contract, it's you getting 2.5 over 12-month period, which is roughly about 30,000 for a client, as opposed to the 6,000 that you were asking once. So also it's about finding out what you're doing in this time with the client. You know, you need to learn how to build value with your client. You know, look at the type of information that you're going to be discussing with them when you meet them month to month. Do you want to meet them month to month? Do you want to meet them quarterly? Do you want to meet them once every 2 months? So you need to find out how the model is going to work. But going back to the question, I sort of was like, I'm comfortable once I sort of had like 5 monthly clients. You know, where I was like, it's not a lot of money, but with these 5 clients, I can cover my costs and I can focus on this business and I can be comfortable in this business. So what they will allow you to survive before you get to the 5 is that you're going to get the once-off guys that are going to say, can you do this, can you do that? So that's what's going to assist you with the cash flow initially. But in the long sustainable term, you need to look at these monthly clients to sustain you in the long term.
So how long did it take before you got your first client?
It took me about 3 to 2 months. So what had happened was that at my previous job, a friend of mine called me and said, listen, there's someone out at the door that needs an auditor, right? Because my friend knew that I'm a very enterprising person, so I've been enterprising. So I was like, okay, cool, I think I can find this person an auditor. I went outside, spoke to this guy. I was like, listen, I think I know an auditor. I called up an auditor. The auditor is like, okay, cool, I have a meeting with this guy. You know, thanks for referring the client. The auditor came back to me like a month later. I was like, listen, I don't think these guys' books are in order. You know, they need their books in order. And at that point, these things happened as I was about to also leave my previous job. So I then, you know, went in and approached the client that came to me at the time. The audit firm that you know I'd spoken to do the work was like, you can speak to the client because there aren't any independence issues. I spoke to the client agreed, and they were the auditors, and that's how we started. And yeah, so I've been pushing ever since.
It's been a roller coaster ever since.
Of course. I mean, there's been, you know, there's practice management. There's a practice management roller coaster that's going to happen also because you don't know everything.
Yeah.
The education, and that's what a lot of people don't want to talk about, is that the education system doesn't teach you everything. You know, so you have to end up doing a whole lot of other learning. You find yourself learning. So that's why I'm like, being an entrepreneur is really about being teachable. You need to be teachable, but about being teachable, you need to have grit. So the guys that want to jump, be teachable. So learn that it's very different from where you come from. You know, this game is totally different. As much as you've learned IFRS, you've learned IFRS for SMEs, but when you practically have to do it, people don't have these documents in order, and you need to start from scratch with them. So it's that. And then, you know, having the grit
and managing the people, because you had a small team.
Yes. I think, you know, that is like practice management. You know, managing people, you know, is something else because you then have to also train them. But now, if you're the managing partner of a company, are you doing the work? Are you getting clients? Are you training these people that are doing the work? So you find that there's an arbitrage that needs to happen between you training your people and you being out getting new work. So that in itself is like a practice management problem. But I feel like it's a business problem, you know, because every other business person comes across these problems once you bring in a new salesperson and they need to sell your product, but they don't know how to sell this specific product as much as they can sell. So it's about, you know, getting in there, getting your hands dirty, you know. It's a lot of back and forth. You're going to lose a lot of money, but I don't necessarily see it as losing money when you invest money in yourself, in your business. Yes, because I mean, ultimately, if I don't pay for my CPD, my employer was going to pay it on my behalf and put it under my, you know, remuneration. So I was ultimately going to be paying for this anyway. It's
and
just that
they get a tax deduction for that.
They do. They get a tax deduction. So you forfeit the tax deduction. But now you understand the benefits of then being an enterprise before I'm a professional is that the enterprise will then do all these things on your behalf, and then before the taxes come, you know, and flow over to you as an individual. So have everything set up in the structure, and then make sure that you cover the individual.
Rats never don't give it all. Is there anything else that you think maybe that we didn't cover, or is there anything else that you'd like to say? Shameless plug or SMA?
Yeah, I think I'd like everyone to just check out the website www.sehoole.com. We're an accounting firm doing taxes and doing consulting work. And yeah, I think we're up and coming, stable business, and we've got a lot to offer. I think in the next coming years, especially for entrepreneurs and for just the industry as a whole. So yeah, I think thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming. And I'll leave then the link to your website. And can people also find you on social media, or you're not on social media?
So social media, it's
LinkedIn.
Mxolisi Sehoole, that's myself, and then Facebook as well, Mxolisi Sehoole, and then from there on, Sehoole and Associates on Facebook. There's also, I think we'll just drop the WhatsApp line as well, and yeah. So
if anybody that needs help with their account, and shameless plug, I'll leave everything in the description box. And thank you for coming. Thank you guys for watching. See you again next time. Thank you.